If the person you trust the most invites you to a party, would you go? I did. But I had no idea I was about to be sold. On a quiet autumn night at around 8 o'clock, I was studying for an important university exam when my phone rang. It was Jason, my boyfriend and closest friend since school. He sounded excited and told me there was a very special party and that I had to come with him because it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I hesitated because my exam was tomorrow, but Jason kept insisting until I finally agreed. A few minutes later, we were driving on a dark road. The farther we went, the more uneasy I felt. I asked him if he was sure we were going the right way, and he smiled and said we just needed a little more time, and that I would see it was worth it. But something about him felt different that night, and I started feeling a strange fear. Along the road, a man appeared in the shadows wearing black clothes. His face was not visible, and only his cold voice came out as he said, "You did well, Jason." Jason stopped for a moment. The man continued and said that Jason had proven his loyalty and that the master would reward him with everything he wanted, including money, power, and status. For a brief moment, I saw something in Jason's eyes, something like greed mixed with fear. Finally, we arrived at a huge old castle hidden deep in the fog. Everyone inside was wearing black clothes with strange symbols, and I immediately knew something was wrong. Jason told me he had to take care of something and left me alone. I did not feel safe, so I decided to follow him. I walked through dark hallways until I reached a half-open door. I stopped and listened. Voices came from inside asking if the offering was ready. My heart froze because I recognized Jason's voice. He said yes. He had brought me with him. Another deep voice said that everything was perfect and that the master was pleased. In that moment, I understood everything. I was not a guest. I was the deal. I tried to run, but I accidentally knocked over a vase, and the sound echoed through the hallway. They heard me immediately. A woman suddenly pulled me into a room. She looked tired and terrified and whispered for me to stay quiet if I wanted to survive. Her name was Maria. She told me she had been trapped in this place for years, and that they trade people and no one ever leaves alive. Maria said that if we did not escape now, I would become one of them. She planned our escape, but before activating the alarm, she hesitated and said that if she did this, there would be no going back. I grabbed her hand and told her to come with me, but she said her daughter was still here and she could not leave her behind. Then she activated the fire alarm. Screams echoed through the castle as chaos began. We ran through the corridors while doors slammed behind us and shadows moved everywhere. Jason's voice echoed through the halls, shouting to find me and not let me escape. My heart was pounding as Maria held my hand and told me not to stop running. We reached the exit door, but it was locked. Maria's hands were shaking as she unlocked it while time was running out. Finally, the door opened and cold night air hit my face. Freedom was right there. Maria told me to run and never come back. I begged her to come with me, but she refused. Behind the half-open door, I heard Jason and the man getting closer. Maria pushed me outside and closed the door behind me. In the last moment, I heard Jason screaming that I was there and that they should not let me go. But it was too late. I escaped, but a part of me stayed there forever. Years passed, and now I am friends with Maria's daughter. And there is still one question that haunts me. Should I tell her the truth about what her mother did? Or should this secret remain buried forever? Because deep down, I still feel like I was part of that deal. It all started when we realized we were not alone in that forest. And the worst part was, we realized it far too late. My name is Sarah. This happened to me and my husband James in the Olympic forests. And even today, I still have no explanation for it. James said he had found a great place for photography. He showed me some pictures of the forest. I told him it was too far and we should pick somewhere closer. But he just said, "Forest is forest. It doesn't matter." We left early in the morning. At first, everything felt normal. But the deeper we drove in, the atmosphere changed. The roads became empty. Then the signal disappeared. Then GPS stopped working. And after that, it was just forest and fog. We arrived near sunset. We set up our tent there. James immediately started taking photos of the sunset, the trees, the fog. We lit a fire and ate something small. That's when I saw something. Between the trees. It looked like a human figure. For a few seconds, I thought someone was standing there. I told James. He looked and said, "It's nothing, just tree shadows." But I wasn't sure. That night, everything felt heavier. James was asleep. I was still awake. Max, our dog, suddenly lifted his head. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, heavy, organized, like someone was walking around our tent. But something was strange. It didn't just pass by. It kept circling. I woke James up. He heard it too. He went outside. A few minutes later, he came back. He said there was nothing, but his face didn't look normal. He said it felt like someone was there. A few minutes later, the sound came again. This time, much closer. Max suddenly barked violently and ran into the dark. We followed him. The fog was so thick we could barely see anything. And then we saw him. Between the trees, a man was standing there. But this time it was different. He didn't run away. He started walking, very slowly, not coming closer, not moving away, just circling us, like he was measuring us. Max kept barking at him. James raised the flashlight. The light hit the man, but a moment later he stepped behind a tree. James said, "We need to go, now." But at that exact moment another sound came, from behind us. We turned. There was no one there. And that's when we realized he wasn't just standing somewhere. He was circling us. We ran back to the tent. Max was ahead of us. Suddenly he stopped, completely still. Then slowly turned back, like he had seen something behind us. We didn't think anymore. We grabbed whatever we could and ran. The fog got thicker. The trees felt like they were moving, and the footsteps were still behind us. When we reached the car, we locked the doors immediately. James started the engine, but for a few seconds, he didn't move. Because he saw the man again. Standing by the road, not close, not far, just watching. Then he slowly stepped back and disappeared into the fog. When we got home, James checked the photos. In one of them, taken before sunset, between the trees, the man was there. But this time, it was clearer. His face was visible, and he wasn't smiling. He was just staring. That's when we understood. He had been there from the very beginning, just waiting. To this day, I still don't know what he was, but I do know one thing. If we had stayed in that forest a little longer, I don't know what would have happened to us. If you listen to this story, thank you for staying until the end. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more true horror stories.